Hi guys, my name is Dre Swain. I'm an actress, I'm a writer, I'm a director. I like to do fight scenes, I like to make art, but please, don't encourage this.
Broadcasting just steps away from the world-famous Miami University campus in the heart of scenic, breathtaking Southwest Ohio. You're listening to Don't Encourage This, a series of conversations on meaning-making and the creative process with artistic and interfaith voices. I am your host, Mark Von Bullock. I am a minister in the Presbyterian Church USA. My guest this episode is my dear friend, Dre Swain. Dre is an actress, director, writer, designer, and creator who has appeared in both film and television. She has appeared as a regular on-camera presence on Nickelodeon over the past 2 decades on shows like Victorious, iCarly, Sam and Cat, The Fairly Oddparents, Henry Danger, and several others. She has appeared in the drama series Shameless on Showtime alongside William H. Macy and Emmy Rossum, and has performed in several independent films that have been critics' darlings in the festival circuit. We'll talk a little bit more about that this episode. Dre has held a wide variety of behind-the-scenes roles on TV productions, from designer to acting coach and many others. She is also the founder of Dre Made Dat, an online shop and art gallery which specializes in handmade custom art and artisan items, including everything from custom-bound leather books to etched glasses to original art prints to custom portraits. Dre and I have been friends for over 2 decades now. We first met as classmates together at Emerson College in Boston, Massachusetts. And as you may have probably guessed, Dre is a multi-talented artist and Renaissance woman with a wide variety of experience across the entertainment industry. She is a Swiss Army knife of talent, and she has used that talent to be creative and adapt to changes in an often unsustainable entertainment industry, and even changes in her own life as well. Dre joins us to share some behind-the-scenes stories from working on shows for Nickelodeon, and she gets very candid about some of the challenges and setbacks she has dealt with as a working actress, and how her multifaceted creativity has helped create her own opportunities. I'm thrilled to welcome my good buddy Dre onto the pod. Let's hop on a Zoom call and chat with Dre Swain. Dre, thanks so much for being on the podcast. It's so good to see you.
My pleasure, Mark. I was honored when you asked.
I was trying to think, when was the last time you and I actually saw each other? Because you and I were classmates at Emerson College.
Graduation?
Like 75 years ago.
If we're rounding down, yeah.
Yeah. And
Probably graduation, right?
I think so. It may well have been.
I think so. I mean, after graduation, I got on a plane and came out to LA and a whole new life started.
And I didn't.
And you didn't, so we weren't on the same plane.
Yeah. I've really enjoyed keeping up with you over the years, a little bit from a distance on like Facebook and social media. And your mother, Kathy, is an ordained Episcopal priest. And
She is. I call her Mother Mom.
You grew up in Kansas, is that right?
I did grow up in Kansas. So I was born in Houston, and then we moved to Kansas when I was about 5 years old. And I grew up there until I graduated high school. And then I jumped on a plane and went out to Boston so I could go meet you at Emerson and hang out with you for 4 years and then peace out to LA.
I have written down here in my extensive dossier of research that you were really interested growing up in performance and the arts, and that you were trained in dance, in jazz, ballet, and hip hop. Is that right?
How did you find all that? Yes. Yeah. Yes, that is all accurate. I did my first play when I was 6 years old. Oh, no, you know what? Before that, here's the linchpin was the movie Free Willy.
Really?
Yes, I saw the movie Free Willy, and I was like, oh, I want to play with whales. Actors get to play with whales.
Oh, nice. Well, that's so good.
I want to be an actor.
I was really waiting to see, like, how is this going to connect with like dance?
That's
so
it.
Cool.
I wanted to play with whales, and I thought the direct path to playing with whales was being an actor. Naturally.
I love that. So how did you get involved in like dance stuff growing up? How did that get started for you?
Well, so I saw Free Willy, and I wanted to touch whales, and the clear avenue to that was acting. And someone mentioned if you're going to be an actor, you have to be a triple threat. And I said, what does that mean? And they're like, you got to be able to dance and you got to be able to sing. So I'm classically trained in opera,
Are you
which does
really?
I am.
Trey, I didn't know that. That's amazing.
I know, yeah, it doesn't come up often. So I started getting classic voice lessons and I started dance lessons at 6 years old, and I loved it all.
Did you wait, so did you get classically trained in opera while you were growing up in Kansas?
I did, yeah.
That's amazing. I had no
Yeah,
idea. That's so
it was
cool.
great. I had a really great voice teacher named Roxy Callison, an amazing woman. She's so talented, and actually her daughter, was the theater coach in my high school.
Do you still do any singing, or do you still, like, I don't know.
So
I don't want to ask if you still do opera because I don't think that you do, but that's just such a cool fact about you that I didn't know.
yeah, I don't think many people know that. Singing and dancing, I'm 100% comfortable doing that with 1,000 people watching. Sorry, with, dancing and acting. With singing, I've always been more shy,
Sure.
far more shy than with acting and dancing. It's almost painful to sing in front of people. It's not that I'm bad at it, and I don't know what it is about singing, I just get real shy with singing in front of people. So I don't advertise myself as a singer.
Yeah, it's a really vulnerable thing to do, and I don't really know why.
Extremely vulnerable.
So at our church where I serve, we do communion once a month. And during communion, there's a part during our liturgy where Lawrence, who's the other pastor, or myself will sing, "The Lord be with you." And then the congregation sings, "And also with you." And I hate doing it
Yep.
and that's only for like 6 seconds. It's not even a lot of singing. And it's just, we're like pretending to sing, really. But I hate it because it feels so weirdly vulnerable. And I don't know why that is more vulnerable than anything else you do in front, but it just is.
I don't know, I think with other things you can kind of fake it.
Yeah.
And that's hard to say in dance because if you miss a pirouette, everyone's gonna see it, but it's also choreography and no one knows the choreography but you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can fake it. With acting, you can kind of fake it. People can tell when you're faking it, but
Sure.
if you're good enough at it, you can skate by. But with singing, nah,
Yeah.
there's no
Yeah.
faking it.
Well, I know that I have heard you sing at least once because
Uh-oh.
you and I have talked about this before. Probably one of my it's in my top 3 favorite musicals ever is Jesus Christ Superstar. I
Yeah.
love Jesus Christ Superstar. And when you and I were classmates at Emerson, you were in an all-female production of Jesus Christ Superstar.
That is correct, yeah.
And I went to see this as your classmate, and I loved it. It was so good.
Oh, Mark.
I talk about this like with people who don't even know you. First of all, I remember at the time thinking, "Oh, it's so cool that this is like all women. That's an all female cast. I hadn't seen that
Yeah.
done with Superstar before, and all of you guys were cast perfectly. And you played King Herod,
I did.
which is a super funny part. That performance really made an impression on me because it was like in this.
Oh, thanks, Mark.
Yeah, I feel like it was in this little teeny tiny kind of cabaret room that had been
I
refashioned.
think we performed in the student union.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So it was very unofficial.
But that was like normal at Emerson.
Yep.
Like that was
Yep.
what happened all the time. We're like, "Oh, here's a closet. Let's turn it into
Yep.
a theater."
Does it have walls and a ceiling? Let's perform.
Yeah, yeah.
Could you tell during that performance I was terrified?
No. Oh my goodness, no.
Terrified.
Were you really?
Terrified. Because I had to sing. I'm telling you.
You didn't look
It's,
terrified.
yeah, thank you. Well, that part I guess I could fake. You know, another thing with singing, I think for a lot of my solos or, like, lead musical characters, they've consistently been very silly characters.
Mm,
I think that silliness is something I can comfortably hide behind
sure, sure.
for singing, which just makes me tremendously nervous.
And with King Herod, a character like that, you could sort of do that because if the character doesn't sing right, well, King Herod's a maniac. So
Yeah,
you could
exactly.
say, well, it's part of the character. Like it
It's
totally
justified.
makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
a choice. It was a choice. It was deliberate.
My memory is that you seemed very confident. You were very funny. And I know that you you improv'd a little bit. There's a line that King Herod has. He's talking to Jesus and he says, "Healing cripples, raising from the dead." And then you improv'd, "Ew." And that made me laugh.
I don't even remember doing that.
Yeah, it was really funny.
Oh, Mark, you have a great memory. That's so
I
impressive.
don't have a great memory about other stuff, but I remember that for some reason. I really liked that
Ew.
show.
That
So-
sounds about right. Do you know one of my favorite memories of us at Emerson. I don't know if you remember this. We had kind of an unspoken deal when I was working front desk that you could scare me. There was like this running joke where Mark would come out of the dorm, he'd say goodbye, and he'd go down the stairs, and you are part ninja, because I don't know how you did it, but you would like wait 5 minutes, let me gain a
Yeah.
false sense of security, and then you would probably crawl. Did you crawl back up? And then you would jump up in front of the desk and just scare the daylights out of me, and it was my favorite.
Let me explain to the listeners what Dre is. I do remember this. Yeah, this was when you and I were in school together. This was in the dorm building that we lived in.
Mhm.
You and probably a couple of other folks like volunteered at the front desk, and so they had to check students in with their ID to be like, yes, you're a real student. You're not like someone who's not supposed to be in a college building.
Right.
And there was this huge big desk right by the elevators, and the elevators had like a railway in front of them for some reason. I don't really know why. I guess it was just to keep the herd
Early
in line.
2000s security.
Yeah, early 2000s security. And 19-year-old Mark thought it was hilarious to scan myself in, pretend to go into an elevator, and then duck down out of the sight line of the people who are behind this awkwardly positioned desk, and then just crouch in front of the desk where you couldn't see
Like
me for
army crawl.
for 5 minutes, and then just jump out like a Muppet and go, ah, and scare people.
Got me every time. My soul would fully leave my body. It was my favorite thing. I was like, Mark, please always do that. Please keep
Like
doing that.
41-year-old Mark thinks about this like, how did I not get like reprimanded by security or something? Like, I guess it's fairly harmless, but like 19-year-old Mark was like, this is hilarious. And 41-year-old Mark is like, what's wrong with you? Did you go straight from Boston to LA? Did you just graduate and go straight to La La Land?
Yeah, pretty much. There was a pit stop in Kansas to trade out what clothes I needed because the climate change between Boston and LA is pretty significant. But yeah, I came straight out here pretty immediately.
You did some improv and comedy. You were with Upright Citizens Brigade, is that right?
That's right. Yeah, I trained at Upright Citizens Brigade. And it felt like there was a big gap between doing, the acting and improv and the whole culture in college, and then when I did Upright Citizens Brigade. So I remember going into that pretty nervous as well.
Sure.
I think I'm just always nervous. And I knew I wanted to exercise my improv muscle. And there's two main schools to do that out in LA. It's Groundlings and UCB. And for me, it just came down to which one I could afford.
Yeah, that's fair.
Groundlings. Groundlings has a little bit of a bigger price tag. They both have great reputations and they're both great schools. So it didn't feel like a sacrifice to go to UCB. It was great. We actually have an Emerson alum who I think is teaching there. Do you remember Drew DeFonso?
Yes, I do.
I don't know if he still is.
Our listeners won't, but I do.
Well, Google him, listeners. So Drew DeFonso Marks was a fellow classmate at Emerson, and I think just seeing a familiar name was a welcoming feeling. He wasn't my instructor. I don't know if he's still instructing there, but he was an instructor at the time. So it was just nice to see a familiar name and jumped right in, and it was a blast. Some people would say between the two they would prefer Groundlings, but I had no regrets going to UCB. It was a great environment, and I really enjoyed my time there.
Some of the folks listening to this will know this already. The Groundlings and Upright Citizens Brigade and improv troops like this, these are really prestigious improv troops. These are not just like, oh, this is a local theater group. Saturday Night Live has done talent scouting. I think Amy Poehler graduated from Upright Citizens Brigade.
Yeah, I think that's right.
It's a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, the name is known in the industry for sure.
So at some point around, I want to say probably like 2010, you got connected with Nickelodeon. Is that right?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Yeah, that was a wild story. I was doing full-time background work. And for listeners who don't know what background work is, when you're watching a movie or TV show and there's blurry people in the background, those people are paid to be there.
Yes,
Those are
indeed.
paid background actors. For a lot of actors new to LA or New York or, anywhere there's the acting industry, the general way to get your foot in the door at the union is to get vouchers doing background work.
Oh, nice.
All a very long way to say I was doing background work because I wanted to be in SAG-AFTRA.
SAG-AFTRA that's a Screen Actors Guild for folks listening who don't know. But
yeah, thank you. Screen Actors Guild. And at that time, it was two separate unions.
Mm.
It was a lot of work to get in the union.
Yeah.
And it took a little bit of luck as well. So I did full-time background acting. I was on a show called Zoe 101. It was an after show, so I could work it being non-union. After had different loopholes than SAG, so I was there 3 days a week.
And
It paid
were you doing background on Zoe 101?
I was doing background work 3 days a week, and the DP noticed I had the same hair color, skin color, same build as the lead actress of this brand new show called iCarly. And so they reached out to me and said, "Do you want to be a stand-in on this new show iCarly?" And I was like, "Great. What's a stand-in?" I had no idea. I was only supposed to be there a month because they were doing 2 shows at one time. They
Uh-huh.
were wrapping up Zoe 101 while they were starting iCarly, so there was about a month of overlap, and it was all the same production team. It was the same executive producer, the same
Yeah.
DP, the same stand it was all the same team. So once Zoe 101 wrapped, they were gonna take those stand-ins over to iCarly and, we were gonna go along our way. For whatever reason, after a month, they decided to keep me, and I was there for 16 years.
That's so amazing. I feel like there was a show on Nickelodeon at some point called Victorious,
Yes.
and you designed jewelry for this show that wound up being sold online. Is that right?
That is correct. That is correct.
How did that happen?
Well, here's the thing. Mark, my buddy, my
Yes.
pal,
Yes.
when I get a new hobby, I don't just dabble. I go so far down the rabbit hole, I kind of live there. And at one point, I tried my hand at making jewelry and I wore it into work. We were working Victorious at the time. And one of the actors purchased the necklace off my body. And I said, "People want to give me money for this thing
Yes,
that I
please.
enjoy doing?
I'll do that.
I'm gonna keep doing that." So, so I went home and I made a whole bunch more jewelry. And the costume designer, her name's Chris Dangle. She's an incredible woman. And she's basically, if love were a human, it would be Chris Dangle. And she's
Oh,
very supportive and very nurturing. And she saw I was creating these pieces of jewelry and she loved them. And it really fit with the show's style. And so she asked me to just bring in everything I have. And she basically bought it all.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
It did sort of become like almost kind of a signature to the show's look.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty iconic. There were people who purchased pieces because of the characters who wore them. There's a very popular piece that the character Jade wore. It's a pair of scissors on a kind of a choker necklace with an intricate chain design.
That's so cool.
Sold a lot of scissor necklaces.
Yeah. And these are shows on Nickelodeon. They're aimed primarily at kids and young adolescents. A design like that, you could totally imagine like a kid watching that thing like, oh, that's really cool. I really like that.
Yeah.
That's really cool that that character wore something that unique. Like that's cool.
Yeah, and, it meant a lot to people, to the kids, the fans who watched the show, loved the show, connected with the characters. They could buy the same design from the only person in the world making it.
Yeah.
It became such a big deal that I had to hit the pause button for a minute, and I actually turned it into a business. I did a DBA, I had a website. It was a whole thing. It was a lot. At one point, I was working 12 hours a day on set, and then I would come home and have 6 to 8 hours of jewelry work
Oh
to
my
do.
gosh. How did you
Yeah, it
sleep?
was a lot. I didn't see at the time I had insomnia.
Oh, well, that'll
That's
do
another
it.
reason I started making jewelry is I couldn't sleep at night. And I was like, well, if I'm gonna be awake, might as well do something with myself.
That's such a great like LA mentality. Like, I have insomnia, but I can monetize it.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm gonna capitalize on this disorder.
Okay, so you were on a number of different TV projects. Here's something that I found really interesting. In 2012, you were credited as being on a show called Reasons Why I'm Single.
Yeah.
And on this show, you played a character named Dre. And I looked at that and I was like, oh my God, is Dre like canon to this show?
So Reasons Why I'm Single is a series by Ben Giroux, who I actually met at Nickelodeon. He was a guest star on Sam and Cat. The first scene we shot with him, he plays like this smarmy talent agent and he enters a door. That's his first action.
Uh-huh.
And he improv'd a different line every time he entered, which with anyone else, our executive producer would have fired them on the spot.
Sure,
He's
yeah.
right. He was a stickler about you stick to the script.
Yeah.
Ben was just so brilliant that he let it happen. And every line was funnier than the previous one. And I was like, oh man, This guy's great. I like this guy. That's how I met Ben. He's actually one of my best friends now. He's one of the most efficient people I know. He's a very talented writer, director, actor, voiceover actor.
Yeah.
You've heard his voice 100 times, you just don't know it.
Sure, sure.
And so we immediately connected, and he was doing this series called Reasons Why I'm Single,
Uh-huh.
and I'd seen previous episodes, and they're hilarious, and he asked me to, join him for one of the episodes, and we ended up shooting my episode. I think the first take went up at about 3 in the morning
Okay.
after a long day of shooting other episodes, so we've been shooting for maybe 10 hours by then.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where, he packed a bunch of episodes into one day, and we run and gun.
Yeah, yeah. That's a long shoot.
And I was helping out with the previous episodes, kind of with production stuff, and then we went to shoot my episode. First take went up at 3 in the morning. We're
Oh my
exhausted.
gosh. Oh my gosh.
But, you only have so many takes. You gotta bring the funny and make it happen.
Oh, and also really quickly, I wanted to rewind a little bit because you mentioned iCarly a little bit earlier. You were a dialogue coach on that show a little bit, weren't you?
Yeah, so I've been able to dialogue coach a few shows. I started out as a stand-in and kind of became the head stand-in, which is kind of a thing on shows. They had me start shadowing the dialogue coach, and it was a very natural transition, and I took to the job really easily. A dialogue coach has a lot of responsibilities. On our Nickelodeon shows, dialogue coach is sometimes an acting coach, especially for guest stars, helping young guest stars find the funny, find the rhythm,
Yeah.
tighten it up, before we get on camera. There are other responsibilities that come along with it. And like I said, our team was very stickler about being word perfect. So dialogue coach is staring at the script while we're shooting the scene.
Yeah,
And if they
yeah.
say instead of dialogue coach goes in between takes, gives the actor the correction, runs it with them, make sure they get it right for the next take.
Yeah.
Also, dialogue will be changed between takes. The writing is always happening. So if they think of something funnier, they'll come in between takes. They can change, a section of dialogue. Dialogue coach is responsible for recording it word perfect, running it with the actors. Before we go up for the next take, I need to make sure the actors have it right. I need to make sure the sound department knows because they're going to
Yes.
have to change where they point their microphones.
Yes.
And I have to make sure the script supervisor knows because that's up to the script supervisor to keep track of that for continuity as well.
This is the sort of thing I think a lot of people don't realize about like TV and film production and things like that. I think it's very easy for us as the audience to imagine that it's just a bunch of people. There's like cameras around, you got lights, and we're all just sort of like clowning around. And if something funny happens, we're like, oh, that's great, we'll use it. And I don't think we always realize how many moving pieces are involved in everything, in like
Everything.
every little moment of the thing. But it's so cool that you got to wear these different hats. That you've had so many different hats you've been able to wear while working at Nickelodeon.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for that experience. It was a big chunk of my life and, maybe my favorite chunk. Hashtag favorite chunk.
I think a couple years after they did Reasons Why I'm Single, there was a show called Henry Danger on Nickelodeon.
That's right.
And this was your first real like on camera appearance. Is that right? Or I'm not on camera
Let me
appearance, but like
think.
your first on camera like role. Unless the internet lied to me about that.
I think the internet might have lied. I was lucky the executive producer and the team that I worked with for all those shows. It started with iCarly, then we did Victorious, then we did Sam and Cat, then we did Game Shakers, then we did Henry Danger, then we did Danger Force, and then I did a different one with a similar but kind of a different team. So through all of those shows, like I said, it was the same production team, which is actually pretty unheard of in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And the executive producer and the producing team really appreciated what I brought to the table as far as acting. So when I'm standing in, I'm filling in for actors during rehearsal and run through. So they have an opportunity to really see what I have to offer as an actor. It's almost like SNL. I play a myriad of characters when I'm standing in.
Yeah.
So it's not just characters I would be cast as. It can be toddlers. One time it was a cat. It can be an old Jewish grandma. You never know what you're going to play, which is really fun. But so they did get to see, what I bring to the table as an actor. And they gave me roles in, I think, just about every production we did. I think my very first role was a big, I think, purple dinosaur on iCarly. So you couldn't see me. It was basically a mascot costume.
Okay.
Gosh, what was that thing's name? We had so much fun because all I had to do was be extremely physical Charlie Chaplin, and that's kind of my bread and butter.
Oh, yeah, you'd be great for that. Was it like a takeoff on, like, Barney the Dinosaur where they sort of
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Take off on Barney the Dinosaur, and that was on iCarly, and that was the first role that they asked me to do, and it's because I was so damn silly during run through, and
Uh-huh.
the executive producer, Dan Schneider, was like, "Why would we cast anyone else? Put her in the costume."
Of course. Like, you'd be
So
perfect for that.
perfect. I was, again, terrified. Theme of my life, so nervous.
But you're in a dinosaur costume, so if something happens, you're like, "Hey, it was some other person in a."
Exactly. Yeah, it's a lot to hide behind, which was nice. And then the first speaking role was Abby in a video store on iCarly.
I'm really glad that you mentioned something a little bit earlier, that you've been, like, kind of part of the same production team that Nickelodeon has, like, kept around for, like, multiple series and multiple years, and I think that's a real testament to how good you all are at what you do, because the reason that a network is gonna bring a crew back is because they get it done and they're good at it. If a crew is sloppy or someone's not good, they can just replace them with anybody.
Bye.
There's 200 people waiting in line for that job, and the fact
That is
that
so true.
you guys had that longevity, that's a real testament to how good you guys are, I think.
Well, and it was really interesting because it did come down to Dan Schneider cultivating the group. If someone would come and help us out or fill in or join us for a week and they were amazing, we would see them again. They would stick around.
Yeah.
And if someone would come and help us out for a week and for whatever reason they weren't up to the standards, we just didn't see them again.
Yeah.
And it's not just a matter of being good at your job, it was also personalities. So it was people who were very much about the teamwork, about staying positive, working hard while being nice,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. That's a really good point because, like, you could there are I know you know this. There are people who are really, really good at what they do, but are, like, gigantic jerks who are, like, impossible to work with behind the scenes,
Yeah,
and that can just create like, the audience may not see those problems or care, but it can hold up production, it can cost money, it can, all this junk that makes making TV more expensive and more difficult, and networks just don't have
100%.
they don't have a lot of patience for that.
They don't. I mean, making TV, honestly, it's hard enough because you're gonna come up on problems you didn't foresee while the cameras are rolling, and like you said, time is money,
Mhm.
and the last thing we need is a problem from a personality when we know we're gonna have other problems organically throughout the day, so, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes when I love to read these, like, nerd blog entertainment news thingies, and every so often you'll read a news story about this, like, beloved director or writer or someone that the nerds online really love, being
Uh-huh.
removed from a project, and you read
Uh-huh.
the comments and the nerds are like, "How dare they? They are a brilliant artist," and I'm sitting like,
Yeah.
"Oh, something was not great behind the scenes, I bet." I mean, maybe it's not. Maybe it was some other reason, but I was like,
Me.
maybe they were something difficult was going on.
Yeah.
Anyway, we don't have to get into all that. So you're doing all these Nickelodeon shows, and you're really, really good at it. You're part of this great group, and at some point, I want to say like around like 2016 or so, you're also getting involved with a lot of these like indie films. The one that I remember the most is, and I hate this is gonna be so stupid, Dre. I'm so sorry, and like I don't care. I'm not offended, but Apple and
You
Spotify
gotta
will.
censor it. I get it. I get it.
You were in a short film called Bree and the B Word.
Uh-huh,
It wasn't
uh-huh.
called B Word. It was called Bree and the actual word. But
The actual
I
B
don't want to
word.
get a note from Apple about that.
It's a great action short by Nico Reno, and my character is kind of an underground MMA fighter. This was around the time where there was a lot of momentum in my acting career.
Mm-hmm.
Nico had a lunch with me and my friend John, who's the DP, John Gardner. We had a lunch and he's like, "Listen, I have this idea for this film I'm kind of thinking about doing." And for me, the film was like the dream role,
Yeah.
the ultimate dream role. I've always loved doing fight scenes, I think because of my dancing background.
Yeah.
And a fight choreography on camera is basically a choreographed dance.
Yeah.
And I've always been into physical fitness, so it's kind of and acting, right? So it's a marriage of all those 3 things. And so he's talking about the concept of this film, and I'm trying to play it cool, but he's basically describing my dream role, and I'm like, so pumped and so excited about it. But I'm like, "Yeah, Nico, I'm on board whenever you feel right." And, he was talking like, "Maybe we'll shoot it 6 months down the line." He kept saying maybe, capital M, maybe.
Okay.
But I left that conversation and I decided it's happening.
Yeah.
There's no maybe about it. And I changed my life
You're gonna
for 6 months.
focus on the goal. We're
Oh
we're
my
gonna
gosh.
manifest this.
It's the same rabbit hole I told you I go down with hobbies. I went down this rabbit hole. I changed my life. I changed my diet. I changed my workout for 6 months straight, and there was no maybe about it for me. It was happening. That
Yeah.
was it. It was happening,
And it
and I
did
wanted to
happen.
and it did thank God. It was a lot of work.
Did it really take 6 months before they were able to start shooting?
It did take 6 months. We ended up having a lunch with the producer, Kristen Murtha, and the other actress, Alex Marshall Brown, and that was basically the lunch where Nika was like, "Are we all in? Are we doing this?" And all of us said yes, and from that lunch, he said, "Okay, in 4 weeks, put it in your calendar, we're gonna shoot this thing." And
Nice.
I left that lunch because then it was real.
Yeah.
I left that lunch and immediately went to the local Muay Thai gym, and I took every class I could, and for the next 4 weeks, my life was wake up in the morning, run,
Yeah.
shower, meal prep, go to work for 12 hours because I was at Nickelodeon at this time, so
Yeah.
12 hours on set at work, go weightlift, and then go to fight choreography,
Oh,
go to sleep,
wow.
do it all again. I have never been more exhausted or more happy in my life.
That's so
I
cool.
had such a blast. And then the first day of shooting was in someone's apartment to do kind of the homestead scenes, and the person had a cat, and I'm very allergic to cats.
I am too.
I got a cat hair in my eyeball, which was, of course, wildly uncomfortable that day. But then the next day we had to shoot the fight scenes, which is basically an MMA underground gritty fight ring.
Yeah.
And they put a prosthetic on one eye that had my eye partially swollen shut, and my other eye had had the cat hair in it, so I had to take my contact out.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
My vision was a little bit impaired. For fight scenes, that's a pretty important sense you wanna be tied into.
Yeah, yeah, it's heavily choreographed. You don't
Mhm,
wanna yeah, I mean, if you do it right, everybody's safe and healthy, but you don't wanna, like,
mhm.
accidentally lean the wrong way. "Oh, now I've been punched in the face for real."
That was a real yeah. But, we made it work. It was great, and it was 2 night shoots to do the fight scenes,
Yeah.
the hardest and the most fun thing I've ever done. I really, really love doing that film. I'm so grateful Nico asked me to be a part of it and that, we pushed forward and made it happen.
I can remember when that was coming out, you were hyping it up on social media and posting about it,
Yeah.
and I could at first, it looked awesome. It was really like, even just, like, the trailer, it was really cool to look at. I can remember thinking like, "Oh, Dre is really liking this. This is, like, a real passion project for her." It just
It's
it was
true.
just you just were exuding your excitement about the
Yeah, you're right. I was I mean, like I said, it was my dream role, and personally, I don't care if I'm doing a student film or if I'm working with Spielberg, you're gonna get the same level of commitment and you'll get the same Dre on set, right? So, I wanted to bring that energy to it, and that whole team was so talented and devoted to the task,
Yeah.
from the director of photography who when he shot those fight scenes, John Gardner, he had this rig on which had that's another Emerson alum, by the way. I don't
Hey,
know if you knew.
nice.
He had this camera rig that I don't know how much it weighed, but, like, a lot. It weighed a lot. It was, a dance scene and everything I did moving forward, he had to do walking backwards,
Oh my
and
god.
I
Oh,
know,
wow.
so hard.
It's almost like not only are you having to learn choreography, the camera operator is having to learn choreography as well so that they don't,
Absolutely.
like, trip over a cable or drop the rig or and because you're moving and the camera has to move with it, but it can't be, like, herky-jerky unless it's supposed to in the scene. Again, this is just stuff the audience doesn't think about.
Yeah, no, all the moving parts that you don't get to see, and what was really fun about this film because it was so focused on the fight choreography, that was such a part of the story that in between every take, Nico would come give his acting performance notes, and then Leo, who was the fight choreographer, he would come give fight choreography notes. So there's 2 different voices, right, talking, and there's all these corrections to make between a take. And then, John would take in, all the notes as well, because that's going to affect what he shoots and how he
Yeah,
moves,
sure.
and all of that between takes. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh,
Oh.
Mark, it was so much fun.
Can folks watch that? Is it streaming anywhere? Or I know it
Yeah,
did. I know it did the
it
circuit
is.
for a while.
I can send you a link if you want to attach it. I think honestly, I'm gonna have to track down where it is, and I hate to correct what you said earlier. The title is Bricks, Brix.
Bricks. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, and the B word. And what was really fun about that is my character was the B word. That's kind of
Yes.
her fighter name.
Yes.
And so when this film was doing the film festival circuit, it slayed. It slayed in the film festival circuit. It was so well received.
I'm not
Um,
surprised. It looked
yeah.
amazing.
Oh, thank you. I mean, like I said, the whole team was just so talented. I was so lucky to be involved. But the best part would be we'd be walking to our screening and people would recognize me and they'd lean out their window and go, "Oh, hey, it's B word." And then, nope. Hello, that is me. Hello.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love
I've
it.
never been happier to be called that word.
You've done a good bit of indie film work.
You're touching on an interesting chapter of life because that film opened a lot of doors.
Yeah.
And like I said, there was a lot of momentum in the acting career. And I moved out here to be an actor. As much as I appreciated being a stand-in and a dialogue coach, that's not what I moved out here to do. So there was this incredible momentum where that film opened doors and I was landing indie films right and left. And it was all feeling so good. It was all happening, Mark.
Yeah.
And so I took a big risk and I met with, the team at Nickelodeon and I said, I love you guys so much. I'm always here if you need me, but I'm actually going to take a step back from this full-time stand-in dialogue coach job so I can go, ride this upswing I have of my acting career.
Yeah.
If ever there was a time to do it, that was it.
Yeah.
And right about then, I had this crazy thing happen. I was on a different film set and I hit my head. And the next day I noticed the vision in my left eye was weird.
Oh, no.
I had a guest star role that I had to go to the next day. So I'm like, I just got to muscle through this and then I'll go to the ER because I'm pretty sure I have a concussion.
Oh, God.
So I show up to do the guest star role and my head is pounding by the end of the day. And I'm like, this ain't great. And that's when I noticed my vision was a little strange in my left eye. So long story short, I went to the ER. I had a minor concussion. That's not what was causing the vision issues. I had to go to a specialist. I had this really rare condition where a blood vessel grows in the back of your eye and blocks your vision. It causes issues with your vision.
I remember you were posting about this at the time, and you posted a selfie, and your eye was like really red, and it was just like, oh gosh, it looks.
So it's a rare condition, right? And the doctor said in 75% of people, it goes away on its own. I was like, oh, great. I love those odds. What happens to the other 25%? And he said, well, we have to treat it with injections. And I said, mm-hmm. And where does that needle go? And he said, it goes into your eyeball. And I said, no.
No, thank you.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
I'm gonna pass.
Hard pass.
I respectfully decline.
Yeah, thank you so much for the information. See you never. And so what ended up happening was I was in the 25% that needed treatment.
Ugh.
And he said, with most people, we can treat it with a laser. We'll zap it and you're fine. He said, but with you, yours is located right over your optic nerve. So it's just not an option because the risks outweigh the potential rewards. So the only option was injections. So I had to start my eyeball injections. And it was supposed to be, the treatment is a round of 3 injections every 4 weeks.
Okay.
So it was going to be 3 months of injections. And after then, you usually see a positive response and you're stable.
Okay.
So the red in my eye that you saw was a result of the injection. So it's not a result of the condition.
Okay.
It's a result of the injection. It's basically a bruise on your eye. It just looks a little bit extreme.
Well, because they're sticking a needle in it.
Couple needles. There's actually a couple needles that go in.
Gosh.
And let's just say, Mark, it's crazy what you can get used to. Okay.
Yeah.
Because at one point, I got used to getting eyeball injections because after 3 months, we didn't see improvement. I ended up getting injections for 5 years.
Oh my gosh, Dre.
5 years of injections.
5
I know.
years.
And so I sometimes I get a little emotional talking about it, but this all started when I had just left Nickelodeon. So I had quit my job and I had devoted everything to acting. And now here I am with an eyeball that's blood red 3 weeks out of the month. I had 1 week in the month where my eyeball's not red. And then during this time, my agent retired. And then my management also closed her business and moved out of state. So
Oh my gosh. This is horrible, Dre. This is like a perfect storm of
mm,
just awful. I'm so sorry. I am so
it's
sorry that you
listen,
went through
I
all
it
this.
was a pretty big life lesson, I suppose. And like I said, it's crazy what you get used to. At one point I was like, I would rather get shots in my eye than go to the dentist. Yep,
Oh
that's a
my
real thing.
gosh.
And it was a hard time because I thought it was happening, right? I thought dreams were coming true. I thought this was the time. And
Yeah.
then the rug was pulled out from under my feet.
Oh,
So, but yeah, that's why you'll see on my resume, there's a string of, TV appearances, indie films, like the ball was rolling. And then there's a little bit of a gap.
sure,
And that's because
sure.
I had a Terminator eye for about 5 years.
Oh. Well, okay, so the folks listening to this can't see this, but I mean, your eye
Yeah.
looks great now. I mean, just looking at you right
Thank
now, you would never guess that any of this ever happened. I mean, how's it feel now?
thank you for asking. It has been, we're going to knock on wood. Because I've not needed an injection since December of 2022.
Oh, wow.
So, at this point, they are calling it stable.
Good.
They won't use the word cured because we've accidentally said that before and then it relapsed. So, we're not
Okay.
gonna use that word. It is stable. I get a checkup every 6 months, but honestly, every time I go in, it's looking better and better. So,
Oh, that's good.
we're extremely hopeful.
That's a huge relief. Oh my God,
Huge
friend.
relief and a big testament to the doctors. I'm one of the perks of living in LA is having access to things like the doctor who was injecting my eye is the same man who developed the medicine that was going into my eye.
Oh, whoa.
So, yeah, so I felt very lucky to have him overseeing my treatment.
Dre, I'm so sorry all this happened. I don't think I had any real grasp. I mean, I remember seeing that like something had happened to your eye and then I didn't like hear about it for a while. So I probably stupidly assumed like, oh, something nasty happened and Dre dealt with it and everything's okay. I had no idea that you were going. I'm so sorry, friend.
Well, that's
That's
okay. You don't have to
horrible.
apologize for not knowing. I kind of kept it close to the chest. It's not something I really advertised and it was just hard and it was sad and I didn't want people to know I was dealing with this thing that I didn't want it to prevent me from getting more work even though like
Yeah.
with a red eyeball like you can play a zombie or a Terminator. It's a very limited scope of characters. So I did. I kept it pretty quiet. At one point I tried to just lean in. I there was a particularly bright red eyeball after one of my injections, and I reached out to my friend Julie Hassett, who's an incredibly talented body painter. And I was like, "Let's just embrace this and does this inspire you? Let's do a body painting that, correlates to this and lean in." I remember I had just lost a Nike ad because of my eyeball. They did the injection and it bruised, and so I lost the ad and I was sad and I was like, "How do we make lemonade? Let's do a photo shoot that uses this instead of avoids it." So she
Mm.
did this beautiful body painting. It looks almost like wallpaper print with red flowers, and the red flower was painted to match the align with the bruise in my eye. So the red played into the design.
Dre, when I hear these stories, first of all, I hate that you had to go through all this. I hate that you went through this like 5-year period of health scare and had to impact your career and all this stuff. But I also want to point out that like one of the common threads of your life and career, it seems to me, is that you are such this like multi-talented person. Like you have such this like wide variety of different skills that you are so good at, and you have adapted to a lot. You wanted to become an actor. How do I do that? Well, I got to be a stand-in. Okay, I can do that. They need me to be a purple dinosaur. I can do that. You've made this pivot from like comedy into drama, which a lot of people, I mean, that alone, I mean, a lot of people can't do that. There are a lot of people that can be really good at comedy or really good at drama. There are very few people, in my opinion, that are really good at doing both. You're really good at doing both. And then even in the midst of this like horrible setback, you adapted to that. I mean, that's just like, that's huge. I mean,
Thanks,
that's
Mark.
so amazing. I just think you're this Swiss Army knife of talent. I have just this huge amount of admiration and respect for your career and your artistic life and all that stuff. So,
Thank you so much. Sometimes I feel like it's a deliberate choice to adapt and make the lemonade, and sometimes I think it's the only choice.
yeah,
Uh,
sure.
right? Because what's the alternative? And for me, there wasn't one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that is I can't tell you if it's the way I'm hardwired or if it's I wake up and choose it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know. You know what? Actually, what's interesting, what came out of the eye thing, I remember at one point I hadn't gone back to Nickelodeon yet. So I was unemployed. I was unrepresented, right? Because
Oof.
my agent had retired and my manager had closed her business. And I had this red eyeball, so I couldn't even take meetings. And so I'm like, what? How do I pay rent? So
Yeah.
I started making light boxes, which was just layers of cut paper. And when you illuminate it from behind, the paper is cut strategically, so there's different levels of light that pass through the paper and it creates an image. And someone had heard my story and Sci-Fi actually reached out to me, right? And they did like a little spot on me doing these because I was doing nerdy content for my light boxes, right?
Yeah.
And so Sci-Fi did a little spot just to highlight the fact that I was making these light boxes. And then the maker of Cricut, I don't know if you know what Cricut is, it's a high-end cutting machine,
Mhm.
reached out to me and said, "Do you want this top of the line Cricut machine? We'll send it to you because you're doing cool things." And I was like,
Amazing.
"What? An influencer?" And I still use it. That Cricut machine gets you more use, I think, than any other tool I use. I'm using it now. I don't know if you've kept up with the artwork. One of my main things right now is I'm recovering books.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I'm doing book makeovers, and one of the most important parts of that is there's a heat transfer vinyl that goes on the cover, and the Cricut does a lot of the heavy lifting for that. And I would never have that Cricut if my eyeball wasn't a jerk.
But I do want folks to know about this because, again, this is just another facet of your creative life that I think is really fascinating. The website is called DreMadeDat.com. Is that right?
That's right.
And
Yeah,
I'm going to spell that for folks. So it's Dre, your name, DRE, made, MADE, DAT.com.
that's
And
right.
and again, it's just like this whole other like creative side to your life that I think is so wonderful and cool. And I would love it if you could share with us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Dre Made That came about, it's been around for a while, but, buckled down, took it seriously, got the website, a couple years ago during the writer's strike, and, it was another quiet time in Hollywood, just coming off of
Hmm.
COVID, and it was kind of crickets as far as entertainment industry work, and I still had all this creative energy I was expelling in other ways, and I was like, "Oh, let's, make a website. Why not? Sounds like the thing to do." And, it's my other full-time job, of course. There's several things on the site. You'll see I have, what I call creative ADHD, which is really just saying I have ADHD.
I don't know what you're talking about. I can't relate to
So,
that.
but it's basically I created a platform, so whatever my creative hyper focus of the year is,
Yeah.
can go on that platform,
Yeah.
and, I just like creating stuff, and it's really meaningful to me when I hear back from customers about the impact my creations had on their life. That
Yeah.
means so much to me. So it's like, why wouldn't I do this? And so I started recovering commercial bound books. So you remove the cover, I make a completely new hardcover, it's completely custom. And because I'm crazy, this was another rabbit hole for me. I use archival quality materials. I know more about book adhesive than I ever wanted to know. I don't want to know about glue. I don't want to know. But you got to know if you're going to use the right pH neutral glue so your book lasts forever. So I take it very seriously. And I turn a paperback book into a custom leather bound hardcover book. Everything's custom from covers to the spine to the end pages. And I really love working closely with anyone who comes to me to make one of these for them. If we can work in Easter eggs that make it even more personal for them. I recently did the Last Unicorn book, and the customer had a tattoo that she had designed, and it kind of tied in. It looked like a bull, kind of, which ties in with the Red Bull with the Last Unicorn, so
Oh,
we were able to use
cool.
that tattoo design on the end pages. So the book is truly one of a kind.
They must have loved that. That's just the sort of thing that just makes it so personal to the person who's receiving it.
Yeah, which is I get jazzed up about that kind of thing. That has kind of transitioned into not only my turning commercial bound books into something, special and beautiful, wonderful and personal, but people have started to ask me to rebind kind of their old, worn out heirlooms, which has a whole
Yeah.
different pressure to it.
Sure.
But it's such an honor to be asked to work on those projects. It means so much to the customer. It truly means a lot to me as well to be the one to be asked to do that. And it's so rewarding. I love doing those projects.
And these are gorgeous too. I really want folks listening to understand this. Everybody listening should go to www.dremadethat.com. I really want people to see this because it's so beautiful, and like the time and the craft
Thank you.
that you put into it. There's deep, meaningful, personal projects you can order. There's also a very special kind of bracelet you can get.
Yep.
And you've done like YouTube promos for this. It's jewelry in Morse code. I'm going to try to dance around so that Apple doesn't fuss at me for this. But it's if you're, it's the Morse code spells out your profanity of choice, really.
4-letter words. Yeah.
If the world's on fire and you don't feel like dealing with it, you
can wear your feelings on your wrist and be sparkly.
Yeah.
It checks all the boxes. No one has to know.
No.
But you can wear what you're feeling.
And when you look at it, it looks just like a normal pretty bracelet or piece of jewelry, but it's
they're made to be very sparkly, very elegant, a very sometimes neutral piece of jewelry that'll go with anything, it'll go with everything. And also it's got a little something to say.
The design is in Morse code to spell out all sorts of profanity-laden
a lot of 4-letter words,
expressions of your feelings. So I love it. I love it so much. You did a gift like this for your mom. I got to help you out with that one a little bit. I didn't do any of the work. You're rebinding a study Bible for your mom. I think that was when I really started to understand like what you were doing. And I was like, this is such a cool, creative part of your soul to have.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your help on that. There's just so many versions of the Bible, right? And so many prints and so many iterations. And I was just... while my mom is a priest, I am agnostic. I'm not particularly, deep in religion. So I felt very lost in the woods. And you gave wonderful guidance. And actually, you pointed me towards the study Bible that I ended up using. And she loves it. It was for her 70th birthday. It's something that she uses every day. Oh. I wanted it to be something she'd use. I wanted to make something beautiful, but I don't want it to sit on a shelf. Mm-hmm. That's why the book you pointed me towards was perfect. She uses it all the time. And, it's just really meaningful to her. And thank you so much for the help because...
Well, let me just clarify for our listeners. When I say Mark helped, what that means is Dre spent like, I don't know how many untold hours like crafting this and put this together. And Mark, while sitting on the couch in his pajamas, said, I think this one, and sent you a link. So I contributed like 15 seconds of barely any effort, and Dre did... I don't know how many hours of like painstaking labor, and it was beautiful. It was so good.
But Mark, that was an important 15 seconds of input because if I had spent my 100 hours of rebinding a book and it was a crap book, that would have been pointless. So your 15 seconds were pretty important.
Well, that's very nice.
So it turned out to be a cool one. I got to incorporate her. She has 2 churches, by the way, and her church, they both have some really stunning stained glass windows. And I got to, one time when I was home, I snuck some pictures of them so I could use the designs of the stained glass windows on the cover, and I put the stained glass windows on the end pages.
That's just like the perfect birthday gift. And when you think like most people when they're thinking of a birthday gift, they get their mom like a gift card or maybe something they bought online or whatever. I mean, this is so meaningful and personal, and it's made by hand. It's not like it's not like stock manufactured in some factory somewhere. It's Dre made that.
Dre made that.
Yeah.
And you know what, Mark? It's a good thing Dre made that because not only did I give her that Bible for her birthday, I also gave her COVID. So it's a good thing.
Happy birthday to you.
It's a good thing that I had this Bible to be like, well.
Dre made that. Sorry. And also, Dre gave you that COVID.
Dre made that COVID. Sorry.
Oh, shoot. I love it. Well, Dre, it's so nice to talk to you. I just so appreciate you taking the time to connect like this. Dre Swain.
That's me.
is an actress, director, writer, designer, creator. Jeez and Pete's, you're all the things, Dre. And you can learn more about all the things at www.dreswain.com. And you can take a look at those art pieces, and you should, because they're amazing. You could even commission one of your own at Dre Made Dat. That's Dre, D-R-E, Made, M-A-D-E, Dat, D-A-T.com. Dre, thank you so much. You're amazing.
Thank you, Mark. This was such a delight. You're just the best.
That's going to just about wrap it up for this episode of Don't Encourage This. My very special thanks to Dre Swain for the gift of this conversation. That short film, Bricks and the B Word, is available to stream for free on Vimeo. You can search it up. Don't actually type in B Word. You have to type the actual B Word, or else, well, you know what I'm talking about. You probably figured it out already. You can also find the link at www.don'tencouragethispodcast.com right under this episode. If you'd like to hear more conversations like this, you can catch the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Player FM, wherever you like to get your favorite audio into your ear. And that includes YouTube. If you'd like to contact the show, drop us a line, won't you, at don'tencouragethis@gmail.com. From Oxford, Ohio, I'm Mark Van Bullock. Thanks, y'all.